Welcome back. Do you like goals? The NHL decided tonight it did not. So outside of this game here, yeah, scoring is really down tonight, and it's one of those oddities, right, where you see a night where there's no goal scoring, and that means tomorrow night, where there's 12 games on, I guarantee it won't be anywhere near as easy as it was for me to keep up. If anything, I was like, well, I got to take more notes, and so I took way more notes than I normally would on a 6 game night because there wasn't any scoring going on. So flip around and document what's going on. All right, starting off with the Calgary Flames in against the Montreal Canadiens. Similar score, different way we get here. So Markstrom versus Allen in this one. Early power play for the Habs. There was a shorthanded 2-on-1 that's defended by Caulfield. Armia has a one-timer that's held. Power play's killed off, and then the Flames get a turn. Toffoli has a tip shot that's held, and that power play is killed off by Montreal. The Habs press at 6 minutes. The shots are even at 4 apiece at 8 minutes. This game was overall pretty even. Slavkovsky has a shot that's snagged and held. Power play number 2 for the Habs. That's killed off as well. The Habs press after it ends. And then we had a fight between Mackey and Pizzetta. Mackey tagged him early, but Pizzetta got him late and got him on the button. So, yeah. Then there's a post for Toffoli as the Flames press, but after one period, the score is 0-0. Second period. Early power play for the Flames. Then it's a 4-on-4. Stone has a wrist shot that's held. Caulfield collides with Lewis and was down. He exited the game. It's likely a concussion, as in not coming back. So we'll see. And there was no malice to it. It's just one of those collisions that happens, and those are dangerous. And this is why when those collisions take place, that you'll hear the announcers kind of like pause, because when you don't have time to brace for a hit, you don't know what's coming. It is so much more dangerous. So the Flames get their third power play, and they score on it. It's Huberdeau opening the scoring from Backlund and Toffoli at 5:04. He buries the rebound there. So Huberdeau on the board. It's 1-0 Calgary. The Habs get a power play. It becomes a minute and 40 seconds of 5-on-3. Dvorak's denied. Markstrom holds. The Flames did kill off that 5-on-3. Habs press with 9 minutes left. The Flames, though, they get a power play. Post for Phillips. The Habs cleared out. That's killed off. With 5:22 left, the Flames get their 5th power play. And that was the 10th overall in the game to that point. That's killed off as well. There's a press by the Flames in the final minute. Anderson then had a rush chance that was defended before it gets to the net. After 2 periods, it's 1-0 Calgary. Third period, Habs get an early press. They would eventually score. It's Josh Anderson scoring from Slavkovsky and Harris at 1:40. We then have some good back and forth at 3.5 minutes. The shots on net are 5-0 for the Habs at 4.5 minutes. So Calgary controlled a lot of that second period, and then Montreal controlled a lot of that third period. Flames had had one shot with 9 minutes left. Kadri then couldn't bury one 2-on-1. Flames get their 6th power play. Montreal killed that one off as well. I believe there was one shot on that. Josh Anderson, that is, not Rasmus Anderson, but Josh Anderson fires one wide from the slot. Then there's icing by the Flames with 30.5 seconds left, but we're going to overtime. The overtime, Anderson's denied. Flames take over. A high stick gives the Habs a power play. It was a 4-minuter. Suzuki's denied. The rebound goes wide. Dvorak has a tip shot that's held. The first 2 minutes are done. Then there was a shorthanded chance for Backlund. They would kill off the entire 4-minute power play, and we're going to a shootout. In the shootout, it is Kirby Dach who gets the winner. Your final score is 2-1 in favor of Montreal. They go to 14-12-2. They just will not go away. Calgary 13-11-5. It's another point Calgary really needed to have, and they did not get. Shots in this one, 13-11 Montreal in the first, 18-8 Calgary in the second, 10-6 Montreal in the third. Montreal had all 7 shots in the overtime. A 4-minute power play will do that for you. Final shots, 38-35 for Montreal. Power plays, Calgary 1 for 6. Montreal 0 for 7. The hits, both teams had 25. Markstrom saved 37 out of 38. He was fantastic. So was Allen with 34 saves on 35 shots. All right, next up, Dallas in against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Ottinger versus Jarry in this one. It is 19 seconds before Dallas opens the scoring. Hintz scored from Lundqvist, and a minute and a half in, the shots are 3-0 for Dallas. And it looked like Dallas might have quite the night, but Pittsburgh adjusted very quickly, and they started shutting down those opportunities. Kiviranta has a net drive, that's held. Malkin's then denied from the slot. The Stars press draws them a power play. The Penguins don't let them set up, that's killed off. Then there's a power play for the Penguins, that was also killed. Hintz had a one-timer that was held. Malkin draws a penalty. They wanted a penalty shot there. I don't know if he did, but the Penguins did. The fans did too. Ottinger denies Malkin early, but then it's Pierre-Olivier Joseph who scores to tie the game from Kapanen and Zucker at 13-19. That was through a screen. Ottinger didn't see it. Ruda then has a shot saved as the Penguins press, and with 33.2 seconds left, the Penguins get another power play. So that rolls over into the second period where the Stars finish the kill. Then there's a post for Pavelski. That line was dangerous when they were on the ice, but as the game went along, they were controlled more in those dangerous chances by the Pittsburgh Penguins. Stars press, but they needed some shots. The shots are only 2 apiece at 7.5 minutes. So as much as they're getting zone time, they're not getting those shots. And that was the storyline throughout the rest of the game. Lundqvist has a shot that's blocked. Both teams limiting the shots against at this point. Penguins press with 5 minutes left. Sagan misses high on a net drive. And I thought a really fast overall game through those first 40 minutes. This one wasn't far behind, but yeah, this one was the slowest of the three. So we're going to the third period, score 1-1. Third period, Hintz to Robertson. That was defended. Did not get that going. So they had the opportunities. Pittsburgh, really good plays by Dumoulin stood out, I thought, in this game. Just in general, the defense for Pittsburgh was fantastic. Jarry then robbed Hintz. The Pens cleared. Dumoulin blasts one high. The Stars get a power play. They can't get set up. That's killed off. The shots are 4-2 for the Stars at 6.5 minutes. They would only get 4 shots the rest of the way, despite having a lot of zone time. Gansel fires one wide. The Stars clear it out. Penguins blocking anything at the net. Stars press with 6 minutes left. Pavelski has a shot. That was blocked. Paling then had a one-timer at the other end. That was saved. The Stars press with 2 minutes left. Penguins blocking chances. They get a rush the other way, and they score on it. It's Malkin from Rust and Zucker at 19:25. So Dallas will be frustrated they didn't at least get a point out of this, at least go to overtime. They dropped to 16-8-5 with the loss. Pittsburgh 17-8-4 with the win. Shots in this one, 12-11 Dallas in the first, 9-7 Pittsburgh in the second, 8-5 for Dallas in the third. Final shots 27-25 for Dallas. Power plays, Dallas 0 for 2, Pittsburgh 1 for 3. Hits 35-33 for Pittsburgh. Ottinger saves 23 out of 25. Jarry saves 26 out of 27. And again, really solid defensive game between these two teams. And again, it just feels like all the teams going into tonight said, so why don't we give defense a shot? We haven't done all that defensive stuff this year. Let's bring that scoring down in the NHL. All right, next up, New Jersey and the Rangers. I'm going to go ahead and say I thought this was the most exciting game of the night tonight. The fact that it had the highest score may be part of the reason why. So it's Vanacek versus Shesterkin. Good early flow, and at 3:05, New Jersey gets on the board first. Siegenthaler from Hischier. It's one that deflects in on a point shot from Siegenthaler on a face-off win by Hischier. Nice play there. And then at 4:46, there's a turnover. It's in the back of their net. It's Mercer from Hughes. There's not even a shot for the New York Rangers at this point, and it's already 2-0 for New Jersey. And it looks like it could be one of those nights. The Boo Birds being out in MSG and all that, right? Zetterlund has a shot that's blocked by Schneider. The shots are 6-0 for the Devils at the half. So really, this was Shesterkin after those first 2 goals doing his best to make sure it wasn't 3-0. VC starts a punchy push fest. We get 4-on-4 out of that. VC, I guess, trying to fire up his team. Tatar fires one wide. The Devils press a bit. And then Hedel at a rush chance that's held and we get some more punching. Why? Because those guys come out of the box that have been all the punching and VC's out there again. Rangers press with 4 minutes left. Eventually they get on the board. It's Kreider, who's been red hot lately. Scores from Trocheck and VC at 18:25. It's a one-timer. Rangers with some momentum there. The Rangers then work to tie it. There's a post for Mercer to start the second period. So it's 2-1 after 1, second period. Mercer with a post. Devils get a power play. That was killed off. The Devils get some pressure after. I don't believe they had a shot during that power play either. Rangers didn't get a power play. That's killed off as well. Howla nearly scores out of the box. And eventually Hughes, on what was a fantastic play by Hughes, scores from Mercer and Hamilton on a fast break at 11:05. It's 3-1. And so again, this feels like, all right, so New Jersey's back. New Jersey's in control. Penalty shot for Hughes. This is your key moment. You want your big key moment in the game. It was the penalty shot by Hughes, which was saved by Shesterkin. Nice poke check on that. Rangers, though, they do get a power play. They score on that. It's Trocheck from Fox and Zibanejad at 13:58. And then 7 seconds later, the fastest 2 goals scored by against the New Jersey Devils ever. The last time that this franchise allowed 2 goals in 7 seconds was when they were the Colorado Rockies in 1980. The team that scored those 2 goals, also the Rangers. So Kakko gets that one from Miller and Hedel, and all of a sudden we're tied at 3. Yep. And so the Rangers press for the lead. The Devils, though, they get a power play. That's killed off. We're going to the third. Early chances for the Devils. Wood beats out an icing call. Devils press at 5 minutes. The shots 9.5 minutes into the period are 7-2 for the Devils. And then it just settles down. There weren't a lot of chances from there, and with 5 minutes left, it already felt like overtime. Both teams playing conservatively, defensively, making sure those shots are blocked. There's no path to the net, and we're playing for overtime. In overtime coming into this one, the Devils 3-1, the Rangers 1-4. So it hasn't been a friend of the Rangers coming into this one. Things change. So Bratt holds onto the puck and sets up there. Mercer fires one wide. Severson's denied. The Rangers would take over, and they score at 2:15. It's Hedel on a rush from Panarin and Miller. So nice play by Panarin to set up Hedel. And your final score is 4-3 for the Rangers in overtime. They go to 15-10-5. Believe that's 4 wins in a row for the Rangers. For the Devils, they're 21-5-2 with the overtime loss. The shots in this one, 7-6 Rangers in the first, 13-11 New Jersey in the second, 9-4 New Jersey in the third, and then in the overtime, both teams had 1 shot. The Rangers, the one that actually scored. Final shots, 29-23 New Jersey. Power plays, the Devils 0-2, the Rangers 1-2. The hits, 32-19 for the Rangers. Vanacek saves 19 out of 23. Shesterkin, rough start. He makes up for it. It's 26 saves on 29 shots for him. And now I need to change boards. All right. So, Ottawa at home against the Anaheim Ducks. The result, awesome. But the game concerning injury. So I talked about the injury that took place to Cole Caulfield during the Montreal game. There was a disturbing injury, and we'll get to this. So, Dostal versus Talbot in this one. They had a nice ceremony for Redden, who's added to the Ring of Honor. For Ottawa, the shots are 2-0 for the Sens at 4 minutes. Eventually they score. Kelly finally gets one from Zaitsev at 5:42. He tipped it in front, and it was on a turnover. So Parker Kelly, who's been busting his butt since the start of the season, gets one there. Ducks, no shots at 6 minutes. They were really flat to start this one. They get a power play. McTavish's shot was blocked. Silverberg and Vetrano were denied. That's killed off. Stützle, hurt wrist. To me, it looked like wrist. They were saying wrist, hand, could be elbow. The way he was carrying it, and the fact he ran off, like he quickly skated off and he sprinted down towards the medical room, that's alarming, right? That's something you don't want to see with your star player. Now, on that play, and it was a hit by Leeson that was interference, that's a power play for Ottawa. They score on it. It's DeBrincat from Giroux and Chabot at 10:19. And that's, kind of a revenge for that hit on Stützle, right? And the physical play was picking up. We had guys like Watson and Kastelik out there throwing hits on guys like Zegras and Terry because, you knocked out one of their star players. Maybe they'll knock out one of yours. And I don't like that part of hockey. I understand why it's there. I don't, though. And I know that for the NHL, it has to be something that they keep an eye on. One thing is, this is the second and final time these two teams meet each other, so they don't really have to worry about talking to them at all. Just this game could have got out of control, and it didn't. So I'm glad it didn't get out of control here. So the Ducks press with 6.5 minutes left. Mott hits a post, and then Benoit absolutely flattened him. As he goes down, his head hit the ice. He would, I believe he sat on the bench for a bit and then exited, but he would not return either. So if you're an Ottawa fan, those are 2 key injuries. That's one of your best bottom 6 forwards in Mott, really hard worker, and Stützle, star player, right? So the Sens physical on the skilled Ducks late after that too. 3:13 left. The Sens get a power play. That's killed off. Terry's denied in the final minute, but after one, it's 2-0 for Ottawa. Second period, DeBrincat accidentally, as the puck's coming around the boards, he puts the stick into the boards and butt-ended himself, and then laughed about it because he butt-ended himself so hard he actually fell backwards. Vakanainen then has a shot that's saved. The shots are even 6.5 minutes in at 3 apiece. Shattenkirk has a blast that's held. The Sens have a 4-on-3 rush. That's defended. Tkachuk then had a tip shot. That was held. This is where they said Mott wasn't returning. And they pointed out, they really showed a lot of the replays on how his head hit the ice. So I'm like, all right, I'll put that on the board, but I know. Ducks get a power play. That's killed off. Chabot then had a chance. That was saved. The Sens press with 5 minutes left. Late in the period, Giroux kind of robbed a little bit. So we go to the third period with it still 2-0. Fowler has a shot held, and then there's some punching. More punching on other whistles. Again, this could have really got out of control, and it didn't. And then at that point I was like, they really need to turn off the mics at the ice surface. You could hear them, and you need to, even if that means turning off the mic of the guy who's between the benches. You just need to. But anyways, the Sens press, or the Sens had 5 shots to the 3 for the Ducks at 6.5 minutes. The Sens press at 8 minutes. Eventually they get a power play and they score on it. It's DeBrincat with his second power play goal of the game from Batherson and Giroux at 12 minutes. Now, that's the good news from tonight, is that now Batherson, or DeBrincat, I should say, is up to 9 goals on the season. He seems to be putting it together. It can take a while for a player on a new team. Ducks get a power play. There's a short-handed rush by Chartier. Knocks down Dostal. It becomes a 4-on-4 because Zegras, seeing a guy run into his goalie, and he made no effort to stop. I will agree with the announcers. That probably should have been goalie interference. I'm not sure how that's not a goalie interference penalty. But Zegras, when it was a pretty vicious cross-check / however you want to look at it by Zegras, and nothing for Chartier, so it becomes a 4-on-4. During that play as well, the puck went in, so they initially called it a goal and then reviewed it and went, yeah, we can't allow that, so they don't. And in the end, Ottawa wins this one 3-0, wearing their fantastic reverse retros with, Scooby-Doo eyes on the shoulder and all that. They go to 12-14-2 for the Ducks, 7-19-3. We'll see what the status is for Stützle. So some big injuries tonight. We'll see tomorrow in a news video just how long some star players could be out, right? Shots, 11-5 Ottawa in the first, 13-12 Ottawa in the second, 15-14 Anaheim in the third. Final shots, 38-32 for Ottawa. Power plays, Anaheim 0-3, Ottawa 2-4. Remember when Ottawa's power play was terrible? It's not now. Hits, 28-23 for Anaheim. Dostal saved 35 out of 38. A lot of them highlight reel saves. I really like this goaltender. I think he's the future number 1 for the Ducks. Talbot saves all 32 shots in the 3-0 victory for his 28th career shutout and his first as a Sen. So it's all good news outside of the Stützle injury for the Ottawa Senators tonight, and of course for Mott as well. So yeah, this wasn't the most exciting game, and it's between two teams that are well below the playoff line, but it takes a lot of explaining as to what happened tonight. Next up, Edmonton in against the Minnesota Wild. Minnesota did a fantastic job of shutting down Edmonton, very similar to how Pittsburgh shut down Dallas tonight. So it's Skinner versus Fleury, and 3 minutes in, the shots are 3-0 for Minnesota. The Oilers do get a power play, though. Barrie has a blast that's tipped wide. That power play was killed off. Hyman's then denied. Fleury holds. The Wild get a power play, and they score on it. It's Boldy. Tipped it in. It was a nice pass by Kaprizov because he doesn't know any other kind. Zuccarello with the other assist at 12:36. The Oilers then get a power play. Hyman gets a goal and is challenged for goalie interference. I will agree with the announcers on this. Apparently, it's a rule now that if Hyman scores a goal, you have to challenge it because most of the time they come back. This one doesn't. Hyman gets the power play marker from Barrie and McDavid at 14:01. And the Oilers go right back to the power play. I don't understand why Dean Evison challenged that one because in real time and on the real replay, I didn't see anything there that warranted the goalie interference challenge. So that's killed off, but the momentum had definitely shifted in favor of Edmonton. They did outshoot Minnesota in the first. Second period. Early press by the Wild, that draws a power play, but a pretty aggressive penalty kill by the Oilers there. Aggressive without taking another penalty to make it a 5-on-3, of course. Addison has a screenshot that's saved. Kaprizov has a net feed that's picked off. The Wild, though, they go back to the power play again. That led to a shorthanded Yamamoto chance that looked like it could have been so dangerous if it wasn't offside. Power play is killed off, though. And then Gaudreau scores from Boldy at 9:39. And that's not long after Dumba had got a goal, but that was offside. So this one's not offside. The score is now 2-1 in favor of Minnesota. And the shots on net are 10-0 for the Wild at the half. So, yeah, it was quite the game at that point. Nurse then had a shot that was blocked. The Oilers finally pressed. They did start getting some shots. Zuccarello has a tip in close that's kicked aside. Barrie has a blast that's saved in the final minute. So we go to the third. Early power play for the Oilers in the third period. McDavid fires one high. The Wild clear it out. Minnesota presses at 5 minutes. Nurse is denied on a 3-on-1. Fans called one. The referee said, nope. It was a trip on Boldy, I think, that they wanted the call on. It was kind of it was on Steele. It was kind of a submarine hit on Steele. But I don't know that you call it there. Pressed by the Wild then with 5.5 minutes left. There's a net feed to Draisaitl, which was broken up because, again, in the Pittsburgh-Dallas game, Pittsburgh shutting down all those big moments for the big line. Minnesota was doing the same for the big line for the Oilers as well in the third period of this one. Wild press with a minute and a half left with 51.3 seconds left. The Oilers get a power play, which means it's a 6-on-4. So the Wild had the puck in the Edmonton zone and then ended up taking a penalty. McDavid's denied during that power play in that final minute. It's over. Your final score is 2-1 in favor of the Minnesota Wild. They go to 15-11-2 with the win. Edmonton drops to 16-13 with the loss. The shots 9-6 Edmonton in the first, 16-6 Minnesota in the second, 8-6 Minnesota in the third. Final shots 30-21 for Minnesota. Power plays, Edmonton 1 for 5, Minnesota 1 for 3. The hits 15-11 Minnesota. Skinner saves 28 out of 30. Fleury saves 20 out of 21. So yeah, overall, great game for Minnesota. Really good shutdown game. And the scoring was down. Very down. Now we get to Nashville and St. Louis, the lowest scoring game of the night. So, again, I'm not a gambler, but if I'd taken all the unders, I would have done all right for myself. That being said, gambling's generally designed to take your money and say, thanks, come back next time. Oh, no, we're keeping that, but thanks. Here's some free credits. Oh, no, you can't exchange those for money. Anyways, it's Saros versus Binnington. The shots are 2-1 for the Blues at 2.5 minutes. There's a power play for St. Louis. That's killed off. The Preds then get a power play. There were a lot of power plays in this game considering there wasn't any scoring. Aggressive penalty kill by the Blues. There's a shorthanded 2-on-1. Near miss on a pass to Saad there. That was killed off. No shots. There's a near miss by Cole Smith on a 3-on-2. Preds get another power play. Forsberg has a shot that's held. That power play is killed off with 2 minutes and 32 seconds left. I wanted to say 23.2 seconds left. Couldn't get that out of my head. 2 minutes and 32 seconds left. The Blues get a power play. That's killed off. Second period. Good early flow to that period of play. The Blues get a power play. Shen tips one wide. That power play's killed off. Johansson had a rush chance that was saved. There's a press by Nashville at 7 minutes. That gets them another power play. Strong shorthanded play by Saad again. He had a shorthanded goal yesterday, and he was all over the ice today whenever they were shorthanded. So that's killed off. Nashville pressures at the half. They get another power play as well. Blues don't let them set up. That's one thing with taking a lot of penalties in a game. All of a sudden you realize, all right, so we've done this. It feels like teams get into a routine on the penalty kill. And sometimes for teams to get a bunch of power plays back to back to back, you start squeezing your stick a little bit harder. So yeah, that's killed off. Niederreiter had a shot that went wide. That's about the best chance that Nashville had during that. Pressed by Nashville after it ends, but after 2 periods, it's 0-0. Third period. Toropchenko has a shot blocked. Blues had 1 shot on net 5-on-5 in the second period. And that was all they had since I think they said 17:46 of the first period in terms of 5-on-5 shots. So they just weren't getting them. Yossi fires one wide as Nashville presses. The shots on net are 4-3 for the Blues at 7.5 minutes. So they start picking up those shots. Kyrou tips one wide as the Blues press. Parsonen could bury one as the Predators push. There's a near miss for Trennan on a face-off win. Pressed by Nashville then with 6 minutes left. Binnington gets shaken up, but he stays in. Fabro had a shot that was saved in the final minute. We're going to overtime. It's scoreless. And when it's scoreless after 60 minutes, I've always been of the mind of give both goaltenders the shutout. Sure, give them both the shutout. It's not how it works. Unless you get to a shootout. If you get to a shootout, both goalies get the shutout. So the Blues with a 2-on-1. Falk is denied on that. Preds control on the next face-off. Duchesne has a shot that's caught and held. Kyrou then had a chance that was held on a rush. And there was a lot of whistles for a 5-on-5. And then Shen. Shen scores from Kyrou and Krug at 2:23. I didn't think I was going to get to use these magnets. I got a bunch of new stickers this week, and I've been making magnets out of them for goal magnets that you'll start seeing in these games. Not that if you're on your phone, you can't tell. So you're just going, oh, that little blob there. But yeah, I was like, oh, cool. Blues. Oh, of course. Now they're not going to score because I have these new magnets for them. The score is 1-0. It's like when I put the jersey on against Colorado yesterday. Whoops. So St. Louis goes to 13-15-1 with the win in overtime. Nashville drops to 12-11-3 with the overtime loss. The shots in this one, not a lot of shots. Both defenses played well. 9-7 St. Louis in the first, 9-4 Nashville in the second, 8-7 Nashville in the third. In the overtime, it opened up 4-1 in favor of St. Louis. Final shots 25-24 for Nashville. Power plays, Nashville 0 for 4, St. Louis 0 for 3. The hits 32-30 for St. Louis. Sorrow saves 23 out of 24. Very good night for him. Bennington saves all 25 shots for his 12th career shutout. Yeah, this was late 90s level hockey. This is how late 90s hockey worked. So we've talked a lot about 80s nights, and there's a lot of scoring. Late 90s was a lot of this. A lot of shutouts, a lot of 2-1 games, 3-1 games, and you get the occasional game with more goals. But generally, the scoring was lower. So we'll see whether or not that continues tomorrow night. I'm thinking no. But it is odd that all 6 games, minus the New Jersey Rangers game, were low scoring. And there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.